What's up, everybody? Today we are talking about interior finish materials, and I'm just gonna apologize in advance. I'm a little sick, so if I'm coughing, just bear with me. So, why is it important? Interior finishes, whatever they are, it's gonna give the building, more character than just having a plain wall. Some finishes protect the other wall members from corrosion, water intrusion, and abrasion, and they even help as a fire retardant in some cases. Impact on the atmosphere of the building, uh, especially with paint. A lot of thought goes into what color is chosen, especially in your commercial atmosphere, because it incites a different, mood or whatever. So you think a lot of your fine dining restaurants are darker than most others. And that's because the darker paints and lowered lighting helps the customers to relax as they enjoy their meal. And most warehouses are a white or, eggshell drywall color. And that's because those lighter colors keep workers more alert, and it's cheaper to just not paint than to paint, obviously. And the interior wall finishes. Drywall is obviously a big one. It's used a lot. It's the most common member that finishes are applied to in both residential and commercial. It is cost effective, easy to install, and easy to alter to, make it look a certain way, whether that's painting or doing one of these finishes. You have orange peel, knockdown, popcorn, swirl, and slap brush, just to name a few. There's a lot more, but those are kind of the main ones. You can see an image on that in that picture. Some of the pros and cons for drywall, for finishing your drywall, so giving it that texture. It adds dimension to a room and keeps it from feeling homogeneous, like makes it, kind of more unique in a sense. And yeah, that's my next point. Creates a unique look and makes it more interesting. It also can hide some of the smaller blemishes in the drywall, because you're basically just going over it with that texture, that finish. Some of the cons is it can make a room look and feel more dated, especially popcorn ceilings. You see a lot of people trying to get rid of their popcorn ceilings now. It was a big thing in the 90s and 2000s. It's difficult to remove without damaging the drywall underneath. And so normally you would have to hire a professional to come and do that. And it's hard to clean and paint because of the different textures. There's little crevices that you can't really get into, so it just makes it more difficult overall. Uh, Pretty simple installation steps. You just plan out how much drywall you're gonna need. Um, Cut your pieces, especially for where your windows, doors, and outlets are, and then you install the drywall. Those two steps could be flipped around. Some people install first and then cut out the windows. You can do it either way. And then you cover up your blemishes with spackle or your drywall putty and all your cracks and whatnot, and then apply the desired finish. That could be one of the textures, or most people in their homes at least paint it to their desired color. Exposed brick wall is it's a trendy thing right now, and a lot of it's trending because it's aesthetically pleasing, and a lot of your older homes already have it underneath the drywall or whatever was the member that was seen from the room. So all you had to do is just take it out, and then you have it right there, and then maybe put a sealant on it. It provides a very warm and homey feeling to a space, and I already did that. Some of the pros and cons is, like I said, it's aesthetically pleasing. and cost effective. And it can add contrast to, a blank space. Most times, a lot of your walls, there's all painted the same color, kind of pops out and, just changes it up a little bit. Some of the cons is brickwork requires maintenance and it will deteriorate over time, and it is susceptible to the absorption of both water and dirt. Had a little typo right there. If poor masonry work is done, it will not look, as desired. It's going to look unfinished. Tile finish, which is, you think tile mostly on the, floor, but in some cases people use it for accent walls and whatnot. It's very useful because it is easy to clean and um, just looks good overall. It can be used, obviously a lot of people use it in backsplash, in your showers and bathtubs, and then like I said, as an accent wall. It is also very good for improving your indoor air quality because it does not hold on to any mold, germs, dust mites, or any other air pollutants like some other options do. Installations, once again, pretty simple. Plan out, make the cuts that you need to make, and then mix your thin set mortar and apply it to the desired surface. And then set your tile, whatever design. There's obviously a geometrical design that most people use. Some people do other sorts of crazy stuff with it. Insert your tile spacers in the joints and let the tile set for at least 24 hours. And the joints kind of make sure everything is spaced properly and it doesn't look crooked by the time it sets. And once that's done, mix your grout and apply it to the joints in between the tiles to solidify them. Metal finishes are kind of getting more popular. It provides a sleek look to a space, and they are substantially easier to clean and very low maintenance in general compared to drywall, your brick, a lot of other stuff. They're very rigid and don't really need to be replaced if they're sealed properly. Metal finishes tend to be more expensive than other siding, but you look at how long it's going to last, it tends to make sense to spend that extra money. They are less energy efficient, so there's more heat loss in the winter. And then they are also prone to rust if you do not put some sort of protectant on it. Floor is tile flooring is big one. It's long lasting and durable, and it's very water resistant, making it good for bathrooms and kitchens, which is where it's normally used. And it's relatively low maintenance, just a simple cleaning is pretty much all you need. Depending on the type and quality of the tile you choose, it can be expensive compared to other options. And but then again, it's lasting longer, so it's kind of which part do you want to invest in, I guess. The grout between the tiles needs to be actively maintained because it is porous, and that's because it's a cement-based material, so if water gets in it, it can crack, and that can mess up your tiles that it's in between and all the spacing and whatnot. In colder climates, tile tends to be a little uncomfortable walking on if you're barefoot, and just because it naturally just stays cooler. But that can be prevented with the radiant underfloor heating, which a lot of people use. Vinyl flooring is another popular one. It can give the look of hardwood with while being much more water resistant than hardwood flooring. And if you apply a proper wear layer, it is going to be a very resilient option that, let's say you have pets, you move furniture on it, it's not really going to scratch as much if you have that proper wear layer. Some of the cons is some vinyl flooring emit VOCs, and so that messes up the indoor air quality and isn't really healthy. It does tend to have a shorter lifespan than hardwood flooring, and it doesn't add value like hardwood flooring does. It is used because it is normally much cheaper than hardwood and some of the other options. And so then your builders and your buyers don't want to break the bank, so they just go with this option. Polished concrete is very useful. It's affordable and doesn't really require much maintenance. It's very durable and resistant to scratches and marks, but you have to seal it correctly, as with a lot of stuff, because if moisture gets in, it's just gonna crack and not look the way you want it to, and possibly be not structurally sound. It does stay cold naturally. That's why most people use it in places like garage, mudrooms, warehouses, or people where people are normally they have shoes on, so it doesn't really matter. Laminate versus hardwood flooring. Laminate is thin fiberboard with a wood pattern kind of printed on it, you could say. It's easy to do it yourself, and it tends to be more affordable, but it cannot be refinished, and but it is better for pets and works better with radiant underfloor heating. Hardwood is made completely of wood boards, and it is better to have a professional install them, which is partially why it has a higher price tag. And you're paying that higher price tag because it lasts much longer than laminate, and it can be sanded and refinished multiple times, and it adds more value to the home due to its longevity. Some of your countertop finishes, some of the more popular ones are granite, marble, polished concrete, and quartz. Each material has its different characteristics and price points, and so that gives builders and buyers a wide variety to choose from. So this is quartz versus granite. Quartz is an engineered stone countertop that contains mostly quartz but has other stones kind of mixed in with it at times. But it tends to have a very uniform appearance, and so it's priced anywhere from $80 to $140 per square foot installed, depending on the quality, obviously. The downfall of quartz is it has a low level of heat resistance, so you put a hot pan on it, it's gonna damage it, and in most other countertops it's not gonna mess it up. Granite is produced from purely natural stone that comes straight from a quarry, and it's cut into slabs and finished. So not two granite countertops are going to be the exact same because they're from nature. They're all going to be slightly different. And so it's priced at 80 to 175 per square foot. But so the top end of both, granite is more expensive, but that's if you're going for the top of the line, highest quality product. Then that's how it's going to be. Granite is prone to cracking if it's not sealed correctly. It is slightly porous, so if water gets in and expands, then it could cause it to crack. Polished concrete versus marble. Polished concrete doesn't really need a whole lot of maintenance, just a little bit of cleaning. It does increase the value of the home or building because it's viewed as a luxury material when it's used as a countertop. They are prone to chipping and cracking if they're not sealed correctly because water can get in. And it is cheaper than marble. Marble is basically one of the most expensive countertops you can get. They can charge that much because it's very aesthetically pleasing, and a lot of people like that. If they're going to spend a lot of money on a countertop, it's probably going to be marble. It does stay naturally cool, making it good for prepping your food and whatnot. They are prone to scratching and staining, though, if they are not sealed correctly. At the end of the day, you have to think about how much money you want to spend and how everything's going to come together once the project's done, and then make the decision of what finish is going to work best in your situation. And that is all I have.